Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We got to go, plan. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your hand in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Fix your pace. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, dude. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. Two times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap.
Welcome to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast Post-Daytona stream. I'm coming to you from what's this called? The UNOH fan zone here at Daytona. I apologize that my voice sounds like it's in the deepest, darkest tunnel known to man. Maybe that old wind tunnel that Chip Ganassi carved into the side of a mountain. That's where it sounds like I am right now. But yeah, I'm live at the racetrack, and I'm joined by three of my very best friends in the whole wide world. Jarrett, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. A little later than usual, but that's not really much of an issue, honestly, for me. So I'm doing pretty good. But I think I'm doing good enough. I can lead in with the first hot take of the night. Honestly,
go ahead, do your thing.
So, this might be like a hot take to get me in hot water, or it might be a lukewarm take. But I'm gonna say this: I think that as the sirens are going past right now, because I might get burned by the chat on this one. I think that NASCAR at the moment has, after 2 years of doing this, has royally screwed up speed weeks. Yes, I know that's not too hot of a take, but I mean, each day, here comes the ambulance coming in for me. I bet everyone can hear it. The fire department's being called.
I can only hear a little bit of it.
Oh no, it's gonna get closer. But I'll say it for this is that Daytona 500 qualifying, I feel like can work on this night, and I'm not saying this selfishly as a host of a show on this night, but I'm saying if it started maybe an hour or 90 minutes earlier, because now it's ending at 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and we saw with the Clash that didn't work, so I think that needs to get reworked, and just more practice. We saw at the start of qualifying the issues that I believe it was Zane Smith had. We saw issues with Dawson Cindric, so more practice. There needs to be at least a full week of speed week at the very least.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Well, first off, thank y'all. Shout out to the chat for admiring the smoke drip. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. But secondly,
the smoke drip.
Yeah, the smoke drip. Smoke drip. You already know it. But secondly, I'm just gonna be straight up with this. This has to do with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. First of all, thank goodness that name. Oh, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Having that name again, oh, it feels so right. I'm so happy they're back. But this is about one driver in that series. And I'm going to say this. I don't want to hear no more excuses. Hailie Deegan needs to make the playoffs this year. No more excuses. Third season, it's time. She's with Thor Sport now. Okay, she even has Ben Rhodes' former championship crew chief. Yeah, now he's working with her now. So I feel like at this point, there should be no excuses. I don't care if she's struggling again. I have to see some type of progress, okay? I get all the hype. I guess she's a female, all that. It's great for the sport. But, pretty soon, the results are going to have to match the hype eventually, or at least come within range of it. And so far it hasn't. But in my opinion, Hailie Deegan, it's a make or break season for her. We're going to find out if she's for real or if it's just all hype.
You're absolutely right on that, Darian. And she upgraded teams this year. For my hot take this evening, I'm going to say this weekend at Daytona, I don't know who's going to win the ARCA race, and I don't know who to pick to win that one. But whoever wins it ain't going to get near the amount of attention that Frankie Muniz will. So I hope that he puts up a good result for how much attention he's going to have this weekend. But side note, I don't think that any of the regulars from the other series, not counting ARCA, trucks, and Xfinity, none of the regulars are going to win. This entire weekend is going to be won by Cup guys. That's a spoiler for my predictions coming up later. That's my hot take. All Cup guys win at Daytona this weekend.
Damn.
Well, I guess I'll wrap this up. I'll make this fairly quick. We're going to go into more detail a little later on, I think, on some of the announcements. And I do apologize for my audio. I have an idea. I might change something here in a few moments. But first and foremost, This is the year for Daniel Suarez to take a big step forward. I was fortunate enough to talk to him on my show or on other podcast earlier this week, and he finally has a home at Trackhouse. He finally has something stable. This is going to be his third year with the same Cup organization, first time he's ever had that. And last year, he spent most of the year in the shadow of his teammate Ross Chastain. This is the year where Daniel Suarez needs to take a big step forward, remind everyone that he's the driver that Trackhouse initially built around. Because right now, I think his ceiling is decent playoff driver. Can he break through that ceiling and become a legit championship contender? That's the real question. And I think this is a prove-it year for Daniel Suarez, even though he has that security now with the new extension. But I think fans are going to expect a lot from that 99. Gentlemen, it's great to have you here tonight. Let's go and get started with qualifying, because that's where I'm coming to you from. Alex Bowman is celebrating yet another pole award, just about 100 yards that way, and victory lane. So I'll just start off with you guys. Darian, Alex, actually, let me start with Danny. I need
yeah. I was about to say me.
Who else would you want to talk about AD48 with?
Hold on.
I'm on my phone. I can't see all four of you at once. I could only see Darian on my screen, so his name popped into my head. But yes, Danny Bowman. This is his sixth straight front row start.
Yes, sixth straight front row start. His third Daytona 500 pole award. And his average start since joining Hendrick at a Daytona 500 is now 1.5. But his average finish is pretty awful in a Daytona 500. I would like to see him be able to finally pull off and be there in the end in one of these Daytona 500s, because he definitely has qualifying down solid. And I had predicted he wouldn't make the front row. Pleasantly surprised to say I was wrong on that one. So we'll see how he does the rest of the weekend. But overall, I think that contract extension came at the right time. Eric, your phone is sideways, by the way.
Getting a little bit sideways.
I'll just say this with Alex Bowman winning. I got a prediction right. First prediction anyone got right on this show. So I'm going to brag about it a little bit. But we were talking before the show a little bit, and between Alex Bowman and Dale Earnhardt Jr., I believe it's either the 7th or 8th year in a row that this team is on the front row. Like, that is, pardon my Kyle Petty here, incredible. Like, that is crazy. Impressive. They've done it with different crew chiefs now, different drivers. That team is just on it on qualifying day.
With different cars too, different eras of cars as well. I mean, 8 years. I mean, I get it's Daytona, and people are like, "Oh, I mean, all you got to do is just run in run it wide open on the bottom area." I'm like, but I mean, for the drivers, yeah, it's pretty easy. But for these crew guys, I mean, they're working months upon months in the shops getting these cars ready, and for one team to sweep the front row, to be at least on the front row for 8 seasons in a row. That is insane. That's insane.
I think it's safe to say that Alex Bowman likes the Daytona 500 qualifying script each year.
Yeah.
Probably not a fan of the actual race script.
Yeah, needs to work on the race script a little bit, or he needs to tell the script writers to work on the race script.
I'm tired of sequels. Also, does my audio sound better or worse?
Oh, that sounds better.
Good job, man.
Better. Good job.
It's because the MRN broadcast finally went off the air. It was blasting through the loudspeakers during our entire pre-production. Okay, I'm glad that sounds a little better. Good, great.
That's good.
I didn't have anything else to add. I just was like panicking that my equipment was failing on me.
I want to ask you this. There were reports that only 8 cars passed the initial inspection process. What was the kind of the feeling in the garage tonight when it came to everyone failing right before qualifying?
It was mixed. Like, so you had like the 50 car, which broke. They had like a spark or a oil line that broke, something broke, 50 car. And then you had like all these cars failing the first time, and then later it came out that NASCAR kind of wasn't going to count that because they had an issue with the OSS. It was like slightly misaligned. So I think Hamlin technically failed 3 times, but I think NASCAR is only going to count that as 2 failures. So I don't know if they report anything yet. I don't think he's going to have a crew member ejected, and there are other drivers in the same boat as Hamlin. So it was there was a little bit of confusion, I think. But everyone was on a different strategy. I was standing over by the inspection tent, and you'd see like drivers chatting up their girl, happy the car goes in, everyone gets really quiet, car comes out, and almost every car had to go back around, or had to go like rush back to their stall. But Zane
that
Smith was,
sounds
I think,
great.
the last one. The 36 was the last car to get through, I believe, and they made it. So I guess the only one who didn't was the 50, unfortunately. But ultimately, everybody got to the grid who didn't have like a catastrophic failure. So like panicked, but it worked out in the end.
But no crew guys ejected, nothing like that. Like, so
I don't
do you
know
sort
yet.
of don't know yet? Okay.
I haven't looked in the last like hour. I don't think so, but
Because I don't know,
maybe.
maybe I might be getting the sense that maybe NASCAR might be a tad bit lenient this year on inspections like that. Maybe a tad bit, maybe give them a
Yeah,
few more chances.
they're not kicking out crew members like they
Yeah,
usually would have at
because
least.
I felt like if this exact situation happened last year, we would have had dozens upon dozens of crew guys kicked out immediately. But because there were only like what 7 or 8 cars that made it past the initial one, they were sort of like, okay, we'll sort of give y'all a pass. Go fix y'all stuff.
Well, it's catastrophic to lose a crew member on Wednesday when you still have
Yeah,
qualifying. Then you have the duels, you have practice, which I don't know if anybody's going to even use on Friday and Saturday, and then you have Sunday the race. Like there's a lot of different adjustments that have to go on. Like this is a bigger weekend than usual, and obviously a more important weekend than usual. So losing a crew guy here, that would hurt. So I'm glad if NASCAR truly made a mistake with the OSS, I'm glad they like kind of owned up to it and said, hey, like we'll cut you some slack. That's our bad. So I don't know. But do you guys want to talk a little bit about Jimmy Johnson and Travis Pastrana
yes,
making
Yeah.
the show? Because when I got to the Daytona here, I dropped my stuff off. I walked into the garage just to see what was happening. I knew inspection was going on. The first person I see of interest, at least, is Jimmy Johnson. He's walking through the garage, getting swarmed by fans, wanting him to sign 48 diecasts everywhere
I
he
can
goes.
bet.
You were on
And
TV too, by the way.
apparently, I snuck into the background of a shot. I didn't mean to, but it felt like Jimmy Johnson had never left for a moment. I'm like, this just 2015. That looks super familiar. But yeah, Jimmy Johnson getting into the show. Jarrett, are you surprised at all? So I picked on Twitter. I picked Pastrana and Johnson to make it. I figured those were just the best teams, the most reliable teams of the open cars. But were you surprised at all that Jimmy Johnson qualified in easily?
I'm not surprised just because of, even though Fords were really strong this year, the Chevy power has been behind them. The connection back and forth that the Chevy teams now have with Hendrick. I am surprised. I guess I can't say I'm surprised by Pastrana. I don't know. I kind of thought the colleague cars would be better. And seeing the issues with, all 3 cars being slow, some a little slower than others. So I guess I can't say I'm surprised that Pastrana got on speed, just that it was relatively almost easy for him to make it in. I honestly was more surprised that Zane Smith and the Fords were actually up there, especially that 36. That was for me my big surprise of the night.
To be fair, Ford has usually done good at Daytona over the years.
But like especially like during the first part of qualifying, during the first round, like seeing like a bunch of Fords up there though, I was like, oh, maybe they might give the Chevys a little bit of a run for their money. I mean, they kind of did for a little bit, but it's good to see them. It's good to see them, make some progress. But hey, Travis Pastrana in the Daytona 500, this guy, I mean, like, look, I mean, I'll admit this. I know like some people out there, they were mad about my, little NASCAR bus video on him, when he drove for Rouse Racing. But
I mean, that's not wrong. I mean, he was.
Yeah, but look, give this man his flowers though. I'm gonna give this man his flowers. I always have. I mean, I even said that in the video from 2019. I believe it was from 2019. Feels like forever ago. But basically, give this man his flowers. I mean, like as far as motorsports legends, like he's up there with like guys like Juan Pablo Montoya who have ran in multiple categories. Granted, I mean, he's not the best NASCAR driver out there. The results show that, but I mean, at least he's here, trying though. So, I mean, now he's in, the biggest race, of the year.
Yeah, as far as doing everything, he's comparable to guys like, God rest his soul, Ken Block, would be willing to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy, he's willing to wait. He's willing to race anything, anytime, anywhere. So, I mean, you gotta give that man his props, man. He made it into the Great American Race, man. I'm definitely the biggest accomplishment of his NASCAR career up to this point.
I just found it so interesting. I've heard stories that even go back to his, Xfinity or even his ARCA days. I heard stories 10 years ago about his ARCA days, how open, how generous he was with his time when it comes to fans and stuff. And so I'm like walking up and down pit road during qualifying, and I just keep seeing Travis Pastrana. He's just getting around, whether he's, obviously shaking hands and hugging Jimmy Johnson, Mike Beam, Mike Beam was there. Reddick was there. Kurt Busch was there from 2311. Jeff Gordon. but he was also just kind of hanging out with like a group of friends of his, it looked like, and like fans were just kind of like hanging around him. There weren't a ton of fans on pit road during Daytona 500 qualifying, but again, it was just he seems so laid back and just so friendly. There's some people, you meet them and you immediately like them. Like they just give off a good, positive vibe and energy. And that's Travis Pastrana. And I do remember that from watching him race on TV in his early NASCAR days. But getting to see a little bit of that, in person, it's like, yeah, like he and Jimmy Johnson getting out of the cars and like high-fiving and hugging, like that's just cool. I don't know. He's a great personality to have in this race. He's like you guys said, he's not the best NASCAR driver, but he's a capable enough driver at Daytona, and he's a big name. He's a star. This is a race for stars, so I don't have any issue with him being here, and I'm happy he made the race. I think he's gonna have a blast. He's gonna be a story to watch.
I'll say this: I am really, really interested. With him locked in. With them probably, because I have a feeling in the practice, the 2311 guys will be wanting to dial him in, get him used to the draft. I'm going to be interested him working with Reddick and especially Bubba, especially with how good of a drafter Bubba is. With that Toyota power underneath them and that car seeming to be up to snuff with the rest of them, I wouldn't be surprised if he stays out of trouble if he's in the top 10 at the end of the night. I'm not going to say he's going to win. I'm not going to go that far yet, but it's not like he's just showing up and is going to run 30th all night. Same way with Jimmy. I mean, I think there's a lot of, this is one Daytona 500 going into it. There are so many different storylines from people that we wouldn't normally think of, or storylines that we don't normally have going into it. So I gotta say that, like, I love seeing that too, at the same time being in NASCAR's 75th season, because that's a lot of ways how NASCAR had been for the longest time. So it's really fitting that this year is the year that all of these different guys come in, not just, Johnson and Pastrana, but Zane Smith, Austin Hill. Like, I feel like other than the 50, I feel like any of the open cars could honestly win this race.
I agree.
It's wide open.
Yeah, it was tough to predict.
As far as Jimmy Johnson, just really quick, I mean, like, I don't know, like, I feel like we've talked about Jimmy Johnson so much during the offseason. It's like, he qualified for the race. I mean, I wasn't really surprised he qualified for the race.
But it's a 7-time champion returning.
No, I'm excited by it. I just felt tonight, compared to Travis Pastrana, Travis Pastrana making the Daytona 500 for the first time. That's awesome.
This would be comparable to Tom Brady takes a few years off, comes back, and us being surprised if he scores a touchdown in his first game back.
Yeah, that might happen.
Hey, you never know. But Jimmy Johnson, it's not like Jimmy Johnson was off, was out of racing entirely. We still saw him in IndyCar. He pop up to a NASCAR race here and there.
Tom Brady go to USFL.
I think he'd go up XFL. It seems like a better investment.
XFL. Well,
the Canadian Football League.
But no, Jimmy Johnson and Travis Pastrana, though, in the Daytona 500, 2023, already off to a crazy start already.
Yeah, I'm glad that Jimmy made it in tonight. It would have been fun to watch him race with all the stakes on the line tomorrow. But tonight was the night that he and Pastrana, all the drivers, they controlled their own destiny, or the teams. The drivers are doing really nothing, but the teams controlled their own destiny tonight. If Jimmy were to somehow, if they'd had a mechanical issue like the 50 did and weren't able to qualify, and they had to race tomorrow, like it's Daytona's Daytona. It takes skill to find the front, but it takes luck to finish these races as well. I'm glad that they were.
Really quick up. Sorry, I just found this comment in the chat really funny. It says Tom Brady to Arena Football League. Dude, he would score like 200 touchdowns. It's 50 yards.
I forgot that was announced like literally last week. That was coming back.
Yeah. Unrelated, but I'm glad they're back.
That's also a good way to get hurt real fast over there.
Yeah. It's such a small deal. But back to NASCAR though.
Yeah. First, I really appreciate the chat. I just noticed I have two screens. I'm doing my best out here. We have 950 viewers right now.
Road to 1K. Road to 1K
on a Wednesday night. Thank you all so much for being here. My gosh, been trying to keep up with the chat.
We got
before
the best
we get into the
fans.
lightning round, we do. Before we get into the lightning round, can I touch on a few super chats we've gotten already this evening?
Let's go for it.
No, it's
Sorry,
your channel. Go ahead, dude.
My phone just gave me a notification. The Rockets lost by 37 tonight.
Hey, that rebuild. Hey,
rough.
how many points did Green score? He probably scored like 30 because they just let him shoot everything.
I don't think I can look that up without crashing the stream, but
that is rough. I'm sorry, Eric.
yeah, it's okay. Thank you for this is what happens when I do this podcast from my phone. All right. Ross Crashdane says, Jim A, let's go. Let's go. Well, he said let's go with a lot of O's. So Agent Boy Band, 7-time in Pastrana, make it in on speed. They did. And I can tell a lot of these super chats, a lot of the comments, I'm very excited about that. Napa Racing Fan, today is the 25th anniversary of the 1998 Daytona 500. That it is. I believe that is correct because I saw something about that earlier today as well.
February 15th.
And I can't take it off my wall, but I have the newspaper from Daytona the day after and on my door for my office.
Wow.
And also, don't forget, Dale Jr., he won his first 500 on this day as well. So.
Irvin Alvarado says, front row Bo spanks the field for the pole. Hey. Anyway, good night. I'm going to bed.
I like that nickname. Let's keep that nickname for him. Front row Bo. I like that.
Front row Bo. Yeah,
that works.
His crew chief came from Front Row Motorsports, so it works.
It helps that his name starts with Bo, and he's a Chevy driver, so bow tie.
Yeah, Front Row Bo. Start selling them t-shirts.
He will. Palm Tree 82, thanks for the super chat. Super pumped about my 2 childhood heroes qualifying in tonight. Racing is back, and I got choked up a bit seeing a black and blue Jimmy car on the track.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. The Guns N' Roses car is freaking spectacular too. I love it.
I saw it. I'm a little upset that Eric Jones had to upstage the Ghost car from last year, but Guns N' Roses, it does look good. It looks great. And they announced it on Valentine's Day with the rose theme. I thought that was genius as well. GN NASCAR fan said, did y'all hear about Tom Grossi's punishment?
Yes. Okay, so I talked to Five about it. So Tom Grossi is a Packers YouTuber. Talks about all football, but his punishment was either wear a Vikings jersey to watch the Super Bowl or stream himself watching the second half of the Daytona 500. So just saying, Tom, or anyone who knows Tom, I'll come on and help you out with it. I'll wear the Vikings jersey.
We were on the Dumpster Fire Super Bowl media day last week, and like he told me straight up, he's like, I have no clue. Dang, Eric played with his ears, y'all.
I can hear Eric's ear.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Wait, you can hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the microphone on these?
I guess
so. I'm not sure, but every time he kept like playing.
I'm
was digging in his ears. So for those who are listening on like,
I'm
Spotify,
sorry, that's so mean.
On-air production meeting.
Yeah. I assumed it was the phone. Yeah, this isn't great. Can I do just a few more super chats real quick? This is a good one for you, Darian.
Go ahead.
From Blake Thyman. Darian, I attended a few races at Louisville Motor Speedway with my dad. Even saw Frank Kimmel win. My dad loved your video from this week.
Oh, thank y'all, man. Thank y'all so much. That means a lot. RIP to Louisville Motor Speedway, bro. Hey, it died for Kentucky, man. Rest in peace.
Another one for you, Darian, from Mandudo 3 videos. Damn, I love the jacket, Darian. I got an 08 Stewart one.
Oh, thank you. Hey, don't worry, man. I got a few more of these, man. Don't worry. You're gonna see a few more.
I'm gonna do just 3 more here, Jarrett, and then we'll get to the rest towards the end. But from Larso, not Larson, just Larso. Elliott fans won't admit that he won. That he won't win this year. Oh, I see. So he's a Chase Elliott hater.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, as the one that everyone accuses being the resident Chase Elliott hater, he is going to get his share of wins this year.
Guys, look, even when he wasn't winning, he was still finishing top 10 in points, bro. Like, come on, give him his respect. Come on, man.
Edible Giraffe says gearing up for another chaotic season. You just want to make me say that. And one more from our friend Blue Jimmy 48 fan. Great to be here for my first Daytona 500 experience. Can't wait to see you, Eric and Danny. This week has been amazing so far. So happy Jimmy is in.
Hey, Blue Jimmy, I forgot to tell you. Yeah, I don't think he saw my tweet. He's not on Twitter. I'll see you this weekend. That's all I'm gonna say, Blue Jimmy. I'll see you this weekend.
Special surprise.
All I will say is I'll likely be at the tweet up. So if you want a chance to say hey, just always come to those tweet ups.
Jupiter Rain says if Jimmy wins, he will be the GOAT.
That's
might already be the GOAT.
Is that that's a legit conversation? If he were to win, would like fans immediately, would the debate be over with that? Because he won so late in his career. I don't know.
I already think he's the best driver. Like
it's such a chaotic race, though. You know what I mean? Like. I don't know. I
mean, he's got 2 Daytona 500s, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he adds a third on top of his 7. Like the fact it's almost as crazy. Tom Brady, not to keep referring to other sports, going to the Buccaneers and winning a championship in his first year was kind of crazy. Like that kind of cemented, okay, this team's legit the GOAT. If you had any questions, he is the GOAT. I think if Jimmy comes back after not winning in 5 years, not racing in 2, at least not racing NASCAR in 2 years, and just wins the Daytona 500 straight up, like I already think he's the best driver ever, personally. I think that would solidify it. I think there'd be no debate. I don't know.
I think
I'll let myself be a prisoner of the moment.
It's just, I get where Jared's coming from with like different eras, but there would at the very least be a whole debate all week.
I'll be honest with you, and we might talk about it later with like, the 75-year anniversary of NASCAR. Maybe talk about it later this year. But like, to me, there's honestly, depending on what way you want to look at it and compare stuff, there's honestly like 12 or so drivers you can look back on through different eras and make an argument for. That's my opinion. Like
12.
I'd say
so. I mean, there's so many. I mean, because there's been so many drivers.
Okay, though. Like I know most people wouldn't, but I would put Ned Jarrett in the conversation because of how good he was he outran guys like Richard Petty all the time. Like
and David Pearson. If you look at their win to start ratio, they're
Pearson,
better
I
than
believe
Petty.
Pearson.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and say anything negative about Ned Jarrett. Don't get me wrong. David Pearson for sure. I could put him over Petty. I'd buy that.
What I'm curious is there anyone who was in that original list of 50 greatest that you think may not be on there? Because I went and I went and rewatched the video I made last year about Leroy Yarbrough, and he was actually in that top 50 list back then. I don't know, for one, based on what ended up happening to him, but also just because there's been so many other drivers come in over the years. Does a person like him get bumped out of that was in the top 50 originally?
I feel like he'd be a victim of time.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? I just pulled up the list, and you know what? I do see a few names that I could see being bumped off the list this year. I mean, let's see. I mean, there is Leroy Yarbrough. I mean, maybe he might be on the cut line, perhaps.
Because you're going to have guys even racing right now that arguably could be better than some of those guys that was in that list back then.
I'd put Chase Elliott on the list right now. I personally would put him on a top 75 list easily right now.
Oh yeah, I might even say top 50.
I'd say so.
I don't know about that.
I'd say so.
I don't know about that.
I'll put him
I'd
there.
have to look at the list again.
Really quick. To make this easier, I just wanted to go over the guys on the top 50 list that aren't in the Hall of Fame, because these are the guys that might be on the cut line. So you have Tiny Lund, Jeffrey Bodine, Neil Bonnet, Marvin Panch, Ralph Earnhardt, Tim Richmond, Ricky Rudd, Marshall Teague, AJ Foyt, Harry Gant, Ray Hendrick. I don't think there's any relation to Rick Hendrick. Ernie Irvin, Bob Wellborn, and then finally Leroy Yarbrough.
I think even if some of them deserve to be on it, there's some of those guys on there who are going to become victims of time. They got forgotten over that span of time.
Yeah. I'll be honest, there were a few I didn't know on that list.
I recognize most of them, but that's also because I used to like read those books like it was schoolwork and study them when I was a kid. But even like, even respecting that, there's some, like, I think there's probably 3 or 4 of those guys that won't make it, especially if you count the lower divisions, because those have become so much more prevalent since 98. Man, we literally just went into like a 10-minute divergent debate into who makes the 75.
Hey, sorry.
I mean, this is a fun subject. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, it's fun. I had fun.
We got to do this year.
County Boy 56 in the chat says Dale Earnhardt is the best. Kenseth is the second best. I agree with him. I agree with him in the chat. Real quick, before we get off qualifying entirely, and we will get to the rest of the super chats a little bit later in the show. Really appreciate the support. And sorry, I keep fiddling with my ear. These earbuds are not the most comfortable. But Jared Davey sent 2 and said thoughts on Kyle Busch's time being disallowed. Did y'all see that where he went below the apron to draft off a slow car?
Listen, props to him, but rules are rules.
No,
man.
that should be allowed.
That's the Ross Chastain BS, stretching the rules.
That
is stretching the rules.
That should be allowed. In my opinion, that should be allowed. They used. I remember when it was just single car runs back in the day. They would do stuff like that too. Teammates would like stay on the track and let their teammate. I think, you know what, I get the danger debate, but at the same time, one little screw up by a driver, even staying down low, and you have the same kind of accident. If you want to avoid it, don't have 2 cars on track.
Now, is there a specific rule against this in the rule book? Or...
You can't go under the yellow line because drivers were doing that remember drivers would do that in qualifying at the tri. They cut the tri-oval.
Yeah,
and make
okay,
their
okay.
laps quicker.
That's okay. Then that's the main reason why. Okay, that's the main reason why he got his time disallowed.
But
Yeah.
I'm team go for
move.
everything.
hey, it was a smart move, man. You want to find that extra speed? Hey, go for it, man.
That is something Ross Chastain would do. I mean, that's literally. Well, that I think is going to mainly do it for our qualifying recap. What's next? We've got a storm rolling in. We've had some storms in Texas.
We've got literal bad storms tomorrow.
Yeah,
we actually do.
Keep it on no disrespect to Tennessee. Keep them over there. Keep them away from Daytona Beach.
Hey, I'm coming there too. I don't want them to follow me.
No, they follow me. They follow me. The first time in 3 years I ain't going to Daytona, and it's raining where I'm at. I'm the problem.
Oh boy.
What time is it?
Well, that was my segue for the lightning round. I don't know.
Damn! Well, dang! You just freaking spurted on me.
I was talking. I just started talking about the weather out of nowhere. Like,
Oh, I did. I just pulled up the itinerary, and as soon as I pulled it up, you're like, yeah, that was the segue.
Get
but,
on the
I put you on the
program.
spot.
oh
I'm
well.
sorry.
Oh well.
This is a weird show.
And it's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
Honestly, it's really funny. Right where you leaned over, you got struck right in the shoulder. Well, we actually don't have too much, but we have some pretty quick hitting stuff, especially like stuff you need to know going into Daytona this weekend. First off, we know that Kyle Busch is coming back to Xfinity in the 10 colleague car. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
I want to see him in that 3, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Honestly,
Do it, you cowards.
Yeah, cowards. Come on. Stop being cowards. Put him in the 3, y'all.
There's a couple other big ones that have been like either today or yesterday that have been announced. One is NASCAR is going to reduce the short track and road course downforce. I know they talked about doing like a 2-inch or even shorter spoiler. So that's going to be interesting to see how it affects it. Powerball has become a official NASCAR partner, first sport league to ever do this. So breaking ground in some way. NASCAR also said, and we sort of talked about it, that they're going to be naming their 75 best drivers list like in 98. And guys, maybe we should do that. I'm not gonna say we're gonna do it, but I'm saying it might be an idea this year.
Yeah.
Take it 5 at a time and see what we do.
This one's really interesting with recent news. Todd Gilliland has been announced to be represented by Kevin Harvick Incorporated Management.
He saw what they did for Ryan Preece. He wants some of that.
He's like, hey, I saw what you did with Preece. Give me a ride, please. Give me a ride.
I think we talked about it before and saw it, but we got the Guns N' Roses car there, and I sent that to my dad, and he immediately was like, "Are other people doing that too?" I'm like, "Oh, I just saw that one."
It's so cool. It's cool, man. It's
All
so
right,
nice.
here's the section of the show where everyone starts complaining about a series they've never watched before. The NASCAR Mexico Series has added playoffs in 2023.
That's fine at this point.
I'm not going to complain about it because I've never watched a series. I've heard the
I
racing's great, but we don't get it in America.
we don't watch it like that.
Yeah, there's no way to watch it. Is there? Or are they on like Flow Sport or Mav?
Hey, chat. Do we have any like legit NASCAR Mexico Series fans who are like legit mad about this or whatever?
We probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
Like I'm not going to complain about it because I've never been able to watch the series before, except for like 1 or 2 clips on YouTube that are allowed. So
yeah, maybe the fans out there, maybe they do like it. I don't know. Maybe
I will say, GN NASCAR fan, his comment stuck out to me. NASCAR tripling down.
Basically, yeah, they're like, oh, we're gonna do this everywhere.
You know what? Standardize the system. If this is what you're gonna stick with, standardize it.
Might as well. Yeah.
And then, last but not least, Walmart and 2311 have partnered up for an at-track and off-track activation for the Go Live Better initiative, which they've also said may lead down the road to sponsorship in NASCAR. Which that's a pretty big brand to be entering the sport.
Yeah. And that's an understatement. Walmart is like the brand.
Walmart has been around a little bit. The last time I remember him being on a car was Bill Elliott in the 50 car, I think.
Yeah,
that's a good.
That was just a one-off. That was just a one-off deal, basically.
GP Laps brings up a good point. The modified still don't.
Oh, Jupiter Rain says this in the chat. The Walmart car, like in NASCAR 09. I remember that too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you got the game from Walmart, you got the Chicago Street Course too. Yep, with that game. That's crazy.
An actually good Chicago street course.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we haven't seen it yet. But that is, Darian, that is the
Yes.
lightning round, isn't it?
That'll do it. And oh my gosh, I saw the lightning had like struck my jacket. I'm smelling it a little bit, bro. The smell won't go away, so I got to do this fast. And that'll do it for the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now back to the show.
This show is brought to you by some great partners of our show, including our friends over at Lionel Racing. And boy, do I and Darian have special ones for you guys. NASCAR 75th anniversary is here. Lionel Racing has released a special 75-year anniversary car. I have got DIN number 918 here, 918 of, I think, about close to 3,000 of these were made. And on one side, we have looks like kind of like a raced version on this side, but then on the other side, it has like some little effects of like sand, because it says from the beach to the track. And I would expect maybe it races this year for NASCAR to have a show car that looks pretty similar to this.
Look at that detail. Just look at that detail, y'all. You got the sand on this side, then it's all clear on this side.
I might be able to actually put you on screen while you say it too. Let me so they can see it better.
When I saw that Lionel was going to be releasing this one, I thought to myself, it's like, you know what? That looks like a fun one to go ahead and pre-order, because they used to make special promo diecasts all the time. You don't see these that often anymore. And I was really happy with the way this one turned out. And it might still be some available. So if you'd like to get your special edition 75-year anniversary car, I know they were also making some available for Ford and Toyota. And I think another Chevy one had more yellow in it. But should be a few of these for you to still get your hands on today to celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary. And of course, you can check out Lionel Racing's other lines, including NASCAR Phoenix, at your local Walmart. Oddly enough, Walmart. We just talked about them. And plenty of great options to choose from. Pre-order your favorite driver's diecast today. Thanks again, Lionel Racing, for supporting the show.
Thank you.
Walmart has been among us all this time, and we just had no idea. Right in front of our face.
Hey, really quick, Eric. FSU dog. He asked in the chat. He's like, "Is Eric's mic not working, or is he just tired?" No, he's here. Eric's here. He's being.
Do I sound tired? I mean, I did wake up at like 5 a.m.
I mean, even if you did, you've been at the track all day. It'd be understandable. But you sound fine to me.
Well, that's good, because I'm about to do a lot of talking, because we got another news story to discuss. Adam Stern, Sports Business Journal, reported this week that NASCAR is considering expanding into additional markets. Middle East, a potential series in the Middle East was mentioned. We won't get too much into that. We know why that would be considered.
Remember that in June. That's all I'm going to say.
They've also talked about Canada and Mexico potentially getting Cup Series races, but in the States, Denver, Seattle were both dropped by NASCAR's Steve O'Donnell, as well as New York City. All those cities name dropped as potential destinations for future either street courses, temporary circuits, maybe a stadium. Who knows? But right now, NASCAR is clearly trying to be very aggressive with where they bring their product to. The New York one is the one that's gotten the most play, because to my knowledge, very few motorsports series have gone to New York, like actually New York City, and had any sustained or even significant success.
Even Formula One, they tried it a decade ago. Even Formula One couldn't pull it off. So if NASCAR could pull that off, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, there was in the Sports Business Journal article, there was mention of MetLife Stadium, maybe building a temporary circuit around the New York Giants, New York Jets. They both play there, right? Around their stadium.
Yep.
Which is technically in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, but it's right there. It's in the New York City area. So that would be pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about it. Part of me wants them to just wait and see how the Chicago street race goes.
Yeah.
Now, really quick, I'm already looking at some locals in the chat, specifically Blue Jimmy 48 fan. So from a local's perspective, he says, as a New Yorker, NASCAR is out of their damn mind. And then I scroll down. New York has the worst roads ever. Yeah.
Funny, I said the same thing about Illinois.
Yeah, and they still did it anyways. They didn't care. But I'll say this too. I attaboy to NASCAR. They're trying their best. Want to get the sport out there. We have been talking about this for years, trying to get new tracks on the schedule. And I know, there's different, varying ideas. Oh, I want more super speedways. I want more short tracks. I want more mile and a half. I don't know, fans, it seems like a lot of fans want a lot of different things. But the street course racing, while the product for street course racing in any series is usually not the best. It always has a major impact on the sport because you are in the heart of a city. And being in the heart of New York, racing at MetLife Stadium, it has a lot of potential. I'm not sure the racing would be spectacular. It is a street course, but I mean, to have them in that market, and then they're also considering Seattle and Denver, which I consider pretty underrated markets, especially Seattle. Shout out to my old roommate Matt. Matt, I miss you, man. He's from Seattle.
White flags matter for those in the know.
Yeah, OGs remember. OGs remember. I love that dog. He's my dog, man. But yeah, having considering to have a race in those markets, it's spectacular, and it opens up the door for plenty of more. I mean, me personally, I would rather see, and this is just me personally, but I would rather see a street course race at Long Beach before any of those markets. But that's just me personally. But I understand why they want to push out those markets quickly, though.
I'll say, I think they should wait to see how Chicago goes. I think street races should just stay one at a time. One city, maybe make it a rotation thing.
Rotation.
Like,
I agree with that.
You can even test the rotation idea that way. If it works for rotating to cities that are more difficult to run at, figure out how to rotate the championship. Maybe if you're gonna, if we're gonna keep the same format, then rotate the championship to make it different every year. But I'm gonna say who I think should actually have the first one of these changes, and it is Canada. Canada has a very, not as big as America, obviously, because population difference, but very solid, loyal auto racing fan base. And I think that they should go back to Toronto, personally. I think that would be the biggest splash move. You're in a big market, good track, maybe, or Montreal, I think.
Montreal. I prefer Montreal.
Montreal, honestly, would probably be better.
Montreal, that was such a fun track to see race at.
And I mean,
you've proven to have success there in the past. Like, it's not as big of an unknown bringing NASCAR cars there.
Well, and just you got that expansion too with a fan base that really, really wants you there.
Yeah.
Like I don't see too many losses, and I feel like they can make it work in a points race if they do it around the time that like they go to Watkins Glen, because it's relatively close in like location for the most part.
Yeah. And the major differences too is, like you had sort of just mentioned, I mean, like there's already a racing market there, for sure. I mean, everyone's been going there for decades, and NASCAR's been there for a while. You know for sure that there's going to be a rabid fan base of motorsports fans that are willing to watch whatever motorsport you put in front of them. Now, New York, I don't think you can say the same thing.
No, the whole street course and just going to New York, and there's a quote from somebody that said, I think it was Steve O'Donnell again, that was like, our biggest markets are New York, LA, and Chicago. I'm like, no shit, those are the three biggest cities in the country. Those aren't your biggest markets. Like, that's dumb. That's dumb logic. The same logic they used to be like, oh, well, NASCAR, like 80% of all motorsports hours watched are NASCAR. And it's like, well, no shit, your races are three times as long as
and there's three series versus one for the rest.
If you
saying the obvious here, bro.
If you really start breaking down the numbers to get an idea of like how many are watching versus like how many live there, I think usually on average, like Tennessee, Knoxville, Nashville, those are consistently two of the best performing markets. And then usually the attendance at Bristol and Nashville, all things considered, is usually not that bad too. So those are some of your true better markets.
It's very, and look, I'm a generalist. I think very much it's good to look at the bigger picture, but that's looking at that's not a bird's eye view. That's a satellite's view, in my opinion. I think that's a little too far. So my worry with all the street courses is it just feels like NASCAR's chasing Formula One, and maybe that's the right decision. I want to run this by you guys real quick.
Go ahead.
We can boil down NASCAR's dilemma into one basic subject. NASCAR needs a younger audience. They need to attract younger fans. Like, they don't want to lose the older establishments, but they need younger fans. And right now, it appears as though young fans don't care about oval racing. They see NASCAR as dumb hillbilly racing in the South that just goes in circles, and that's not appealing to 20 and 30-year-olds by and large. That's my theory. I think that's a general theory.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
20 and 30-year-olds are more attracted by the glitzy, glamorous Las Vegas and Miami of Formula One and the left and right hand turns, international superstars. And I think that's the disconnect. So NASCAR has to decide, do we want to try and be like Formula One, where we go to street courses, we race in New York, we race in the Clash at the LA Coliseum and try to chase that fan?
or do we stick to what we do best? North Wilkesboro, Bristol, Daytona, oval racing primarily, and hope that the young kids eventually come over. Like, it's tough. That's ultimately the battle they've been fighting, and I don't know what the right answer is. I think they've been kind of like on that line. They've been, they bring back North Wilkesboro, but they also try the Chicago Street Race. They've been playing both sides, and I just wonder at some point they may have to commit. And
I'll jump on
I
this.
don't know what the right answer is. Yeah, go for it.
I'll jump on it. I think that to a degree, like there's that balancing act, like we talked about. I think there's a tether here. There's a tether between NASCAR fans and general audiences, and most NASCAR fans are not going to like it when I say this, but it's super speedway racing. And I don't like saying that because I don't want every other track being a super speedway. We've already heard, and we have no plans that have ever been announced yet, just that we've heard we're going to make major redesigns to Texas Motor Speedway by the same company that brought you Atlanta Motor Speedway. You know, we want to bring Kentucky back one day, but nobody liked racing at Kentucky. But you know what? You know what people came out, both attendance and on TV and droves for? New Atlanta. So I don't like the idea personally, and I'm not saying they should do this, but what I'm saying is I think NASCAR and the brain trust around NASCAR, part of their thinking with this might be replace some of the dates that aren't working with more street courses or bigger markets. Whether you're going to the Chicago street course, you're going international, you're going, New York or wherever, Denver, Seattle, then replace some of these boring, I say boring because I don't think Atlanta was, tracks with a chopped up version of themselves that fits more what a general audience would see in NASCAR. Because, for instance, when I, living up in Northern Illinois, there was a very small but diehard base of racing fans. But for the most part, people my age, they watch football, they watch basketball, they watch baseball, they'll watch hockey, they occasionally watch F1.
What would happen if you were to bring up NASCAR to them?
Okay. There were two things that caught their attention, after 2008. Before 2008, NASCAR was everywhere, all that stuff. But after 2008, there were two things that brought up their attention. One was super speedway racing. Anytime Talladega or Daytona was on, they'd watch because they wanted to see the big crashes. Mm-hmm. And then two was the playoff format. Like, I had friends of mine ask me about the playoffs. They'd heard about it. They'd seen the whole rounds, elimination stuff. And so, now granted, they didn't stick around for the playoff part, but they would watch Daytona and Talladega. And so I feel like that's going to be NASCAR's mentality here is, well, we can have super speedways and super speedway lights that bring all these people in for the crashes and bring the sport to them also, and maybe we can like balance this all out. But at the same time, they'll bring in North Wilkesboro, the rumors about the Rock, among other old tracks like the Fairgrounds. So I think their idea is give old fans just enough that they'll be happy, and then find a bunch of stuff, new fans or people who aren't your core audience, or even in a lot of ways, might not even be your target audience, will be attracted to for the sheer destruction.
That's what they seem to be doing. You're right. My question is that actually going to work?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like
you got to commit.
They're gonna have to. Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I'd like to think it works because that's a perfect schedule to me. I love a street course. One. I love a stadium race. One. I love a few super speedways, a few traditional short tracks, a couple traditional road courses. I love the diversity of the current schedule. Like, honestly, the current schedule is all perfect in my opinion.
NASCAR.
So I want it to work.
NASCAR's issue isn't the schedule, it's not the cars. To a degree anymore, because they've owned it, isn't even the playoff system, is that NASCAR doesn't have its own identity anymore. NASCAR is trying to be other things in a lot of ways, and trying to be everything but what it is. Be what you are. Like, but ratings went up.
What it is Southern short track and super speedway racing, and so I just don't like. Do they commit to that? Because they can. I'd still watch, but would other people my age typically watch? I don't know. That's a risk.
Hey, Eric, I got to give you props, though, because you got me thinking on this. Because the way you put it, I didn't even think about it that way. I'm like, oh, yeah, they are trying to play both sides here. Here's the issue with that. Eventually, you're going to tear yourselves apart if you try to play both sides. And eventually, in the end, you won't have anybody. And then you'll basically just kill yourself off. But Jared made a good point. We have no identity anymore. And you know what? I get what they're trying to do, because when you look at Formula One and what Liberty Media has done with them, like, I don't think they're going to overtake NASCAR anytime soon, but they are on a positive trajectory.
I personally, especially with NASCAR being NASCAR has leveled itself out. If you look at the last 5, even 6 years, it's pretty even. Where I think they should go with it is own what you are. You have that flair of entertainment. That's always been NASCAR. NASCAR, compared to any other major form of motorsports, has always had that flair.
It's more entertaining to watch.
And they've geared that flair. Like, let's not lie and just say that NASCAR started doing this kind of stuff in 2004. They manipulated races long before that in small little ways. To like giving Sterling Marlin the lead back in 2002. That wasn't the chase era. So I think what NASCAR should do is own what you are and market yourself better. You have the racing product, you have the locations, in a lot of ways you have the markets and the attention of people. Now you need to figure out how to package it better in a sense of just like if someone's going to give me a cake but it looks like a giant turd, I'm not going to eat it even if everyone tells me how great it tastes.
Yeah. I think
I like that.
That's a good analogy. I think the main issue is that, right now, some of these younger fans, who want to get into racing and stuff, like, I feel like to an extent they don't know any better. It's like, to Eric's earlier point, it's like somebody put in the chat earlier, perception is reality in some ways. And it's like Eric had pointed out earlier, you got some of these newer fans coming in that want to get into racing. They see F1 and, they're, circuits and street circuits and stuff, the glitz, the glamour, the hype, but then when you actually watch the racing, it's dull for the most part. At least I mean, like, F1 is just not like that. It's very spread out. It's not, like, I'm sort of into it, but I prefer NASCAR over that, of course. But, the thing is that NASCAR just needs to market itself better. That's all. I think that's it. I feel like just market, what you already are, short track series, super speedway series, all that stuff. And yes, I do feel like it is okay to have, a street course here and there and stuff. Now, I agree with Jared's earlier point about the rotating thing. I don't think the schedule could handle 2 street courses. That'd be way too much. Yeah, that'd be way too much. Just market yourself better. That's it.
I want to highlight a comment from a fellow YouTuber, GP Laps. He said,
what's up?
It all seems like short-term gains based on novelty, and it will go away as quick as it comes. Long-term takes time, and I think he's right. Also, we got a super chat from Jupiter Rain that says NASCAR is going to have 16 road and street courses and 16 super speedways.
4 short tracks, baby.
That'd be great. That'd be crazy. Like, fans would be like, okay, like I don't know, 16 races, they'd be excited. The other 16, they'd be super pissed off.
It would be so extreme. Anyway, are we ready to move on? Because we have one other big story I want to touch on before we get to the 500. I'm excited about this one, and I want to start with Danny on this one. But today, a couple drivers with a couple of big contenders signed massive extensions. I want to start with the biggest one. Alex Bowman signed a 3-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports today, keeping him in the 48 until at least 2026. Ally will continue to be the full-time sponsor of the 48 through 2028. That's crazy. But Bowman, they get the deal done before the season starts, so that storyline out the window. Danny, how do you feel about Alex Bowman being locked up for at least, I guess if you include this year, 4 more full seasons?
I mean, I think that's huge for him. I think that's definitely a weight lifted off his shoulders, at least. For Ally, we talked about this before. I felt like he wasn't going to go nowhere because it just seemed like Ally was really much into him. They've been doing stuff with his dirt program in addition to the Cup Series stuff. I mean, they seem to have found a driver they like. I think that it'll end up being that Bowman gets all 5 of these extra years that Ally has gotten. But I do think it is interesting, though. They're only going to go 3 years, even though they got the sponsor for 5. Whether or not that means he's going to be gone eventually, I don't think so. If he could continue getting 1 to 2 wins a year, I don't see any reason to get rid of him in the next, 4 to 5 years too.
And I said this last week. We were talking about, the different driver changes, and we'll get to the, the Trackhouse news in a bit because I was playing devil's advocate on that last week. But I was like, okay, make or break year for Alex Bowman. What this extension tells me, because we haven't even ran one official race yet, what this tells me is that team with, the new crew chief, they must have something cooking already. We already saw it today. We already saw it tonight, man. I know it's Daytona, qualifying, like, oh, Hendrick always wins. But, I mean, to sign this extension, and we haven't even ran one official points race yet, there's something cooking over there over on that 48 team. I'm very intrigued. Now, I was already very intrigued to begin the season, but now that they've won the pole and the extension on the same day, now I do see Danny's point, though. Like, I would be a little concerned about the, the whole, okay, Bowman gets 3 years and then Ally gets 5 years. I think that is Ally maybe just putting those extra 2 years, like, hey, we're going to support this thing all the way. And if Bowman is still our guy by then yeah, we would love to sign him to an extension. Hey, you never know. Maybe next season they might sign the full, for the final 2 years. You never know.
You know what this means, right?
What's this mean?
This means it's 4 to 6 more years of everyone finding every reason under the sun of why Alex Bowman won't race the 48 the next year.
Hey, he's earned it. You know,
and to be fair,
if Hendrick thinks he's earned it, then hey, I'm not gonna judge.
To be fair, I think like on this show we've been I won't say Danny because Danny has had full.
We've been hard on him. We've been hard.
We've been guilty at different times of it, but it is going to be 4 to 6 years of people going. Maybe Hendrick will have the first NASCAR trade in history and trade away Alex Bowman. They'll find a reason to get rid of Alex Bowman, no matter how good.
Legal? Is that even legal? Can you really trade?
Hey,
there's no rule against it.
And Buescher basically got traded.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rule against it, bro. So you could you really like trade drivers and like?
I mean, if the sponsors and other manufacturers were for it,
in a way, I mean, Toyota, JGR, 2311 Racing, they kind of did that with RCR to a point.
Yeah. But hey, I let Alex Bowman and his team cook for the next few years because I think they're gonna cook something nice for us, especially for Danny here. Especially for Danny
making them steaks.
Yes, exactly. Well, not as good as Danny's steaks. I've had Danny's steaks. Those are actually those are spectacular. Yeah, those are spectacular.
Let Danny cook and let Alex Bowman cook.
The bigger story to me is just Hendrick Motorsports, man. They've got all their drivers locked up through at least 2025. Larson Bowman through 26, Elliott through 27. Like that, you look at the turmoil that Gibbs is having. Like they got drivers potentially retiring, losing sponsors. SHR's got guys retiring. Like the other powerhouses are struggling a little bit, except for maybe Penske. And Hendrick is like as solid as they've ever been.
Do you know what that symbolizes to me, Eric? Now that Hendrick Motorsports has all of their young drivers locked up now for the future.
Like Thanos with the
it symbolizes to me that their whole rebuild that they had went through a while back, it's officially over now. They have officially their new 4 guys. It's officially locked in. We don't have to worry about one guy going and another guy coming in.
Well, we don't have to worry about that, but performance-wise, the one I'm worried about, the one that I think needs to prove himself more than any of them is William Byron. Like, William Byron cannot go, 18, 19 weeks without a top 10.
Yeah.
And then, everyone's like, well, he'll show up at the end of the year.
Look,
I know
he had those 2 wins. But guys, you cannot go that long without scoring a top 10 driving for Hendrick Motorsports. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable.
I think the pressure goes on him personally. Yeah. I think if Bowman were in a contract year all year, yes, I would see it being on him. But Hendrick has shown full faith in him behind him. He is clearly the number 3 driver at this point, and people forget that he had 4 wins before last year in 2021. And that's different car, different whatever, but that doesn't go away. So for me, I think now it all that pressure is on William Byron because it's at this point Hendrick has put we're going on 6 years now of Cup force behind him, and where's the main results?
And for William Byron, I think Liberty University, their role is going down significantly over the last few years, and that's a combination of the time separation between Williams' time in college there, and also with outside factors from school.
Byron is going into his 6th Cup season.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been with Hendrick the same amount of time that Bowman's been there.
It hit me earlier today.
Say that again, Eric. Say that his season?
It hit me earlier today that Blaney's about to enter his 8th, but Byron is about to enter his 6th.
Ooh. Hey, it feels like they just entered the sport. It doesn't feel like it. Yeah, that's weird. That's so weird, bro. It doesn't feel like they've been in the Cup Series that long. But then, when you think about it, I remember Ryan Blaney, like as far back as 2014, driving the 12. That's a fact. He did drive the 12 that year. I think in some select races.
I like this comment. Sorry, from David Bell. He says, "There's no struggle at JGR," and I'm like,
No.
Not with Christopher.
Yeah.
Not with
Yeah.
Hey, not with Christopher. Not with
He's
Christopher.
solid.
We know that for sure. We know that.
You have the good son.
Yeah, we know that. Now the other drivers.
There's questions
see.
surrounding
There's
everybody
questions.
else right now. Bell is fine.
The
But
future
we
is
love
the
Bell.
good son and the grandson.
Yeah. We love Bell, and we are for sure not saying that just because
No,
fathers here and
they've
stuff.
Hendrick
Yeah.
and Gibbs have switched places in the last 6 years. Like
Mhm.
I really
Yeah.
think that's how the whole pendulum is swung now.
Yeah. The
Who's
other
guy?
driver,
Who's the other?
yeah, the other guy in this situation is Daniel Suarez. Signed they didn't release details, but it's a multi-year extension with Trackhouse. Again, right before the season starts. But Daniel Suarez, I mentioned at the very top of the show, he's going into his 3rd year with Trackhouse. He's never been with a single Cup team for this long. So to have the stability he's had the last couple of years, but now this added stability for at least the next couple, that's huge, right? Like he's got to build off of what he did last season. Last year was a great step, getting a win, making the playoffs, making it out of the first round, but you got to do more this year. I think you got to remind people that like this is your team and Ross Chastain's team. Like this needs to be kind of like a friendly rivalry because Chastain stole all the headlines last year. And there's nothing wrong with that, but this is your team still. And I think Daniel Suarez is capable of taking a big step forward.
I am so happy for Suarez. Just the journey he's been on to get to this point. And we had said this last week. You had asked me like, hey, like, do I feel like which driver do I feel will be re-signed, and then like leave Trackhouse Racing? And some guys said or I think most of y'all said both will come back, and I think I had said one of them would come back. So to see Suarez get this deal, I mean, it's well deserved, man. I mean, he helped build that team in their inaugural season. And I mean, he said it right from the get-go too. Like this team felt like home. Like, I mean, and that says a lot for a guy who's like bounced around. Like he understands like, hey, this is a business, like some of these teams you race for, I mean, you don't know how long you're going to be there. So you can't really like, put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? Like it's good. He'll finally have a team and a deal where he won't have to worry where he's racing for next year. I think for the first time in a long time, it's like he doesn't have to worry about any contract situations. He can just focus on racing.
I don't think he's worried about it the whole time, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. There could have been something, that there could have been a deal made already, made behind the scenes, that sort of thing.
Well,
So
I think the goal going in the whole time, it wasn't like Kyle Busch, where or at least what was claimed to be a money issue. It wasn't disgruntled stuff with a team. I feel like every time going in, yes, it might be 1-year deals here or there, but the idea going in was you're our driver. Let's make this work. Let's work together and get sponsorship. Yeah. And that team's been sponsored every race they've ran the last 2 years.
Yeah. Good point. And I love this. I love this for his career. Now, that being said, though, someone had asked earlier today on Twitter about, hey, what's Ross Chastain's deal? Now, somebody had said on Twitter that there aren't any talks at the moment. I'm not saying like, oh, he's going to go somewhere else, but maybe it might be a similar deal to where it's like, hey, we know you're going to come back. We'll talk, when the time's right. We'll make it.
If I'm Trackhouse and I know I want to keep Chastain, I would start considering get that offer on the table to him as soon as possible, because now that we've re-signed Suarez and Bowman, that makes the choices for who to replace Kevin Harvick get a lot slimmer now.
Exactly. We're starting to see some seats come open. And hey, you never know. I mean, there might be a surprise seat, during the season. I mean, I don't think anyone really expected. I mean, this is on a smaller scale, but I don't think anyone expected this early for Todd Gilliland to be out of a full-time opportunity, this early in the season.
Yes, it's a long shot still, but don't rule out the fact the 11 might be an open ride, especially if Hamlin has an option to go to his own team.
Oh my! Imagine Ross Chastain steals Denny Hamlin's ride.
It's chaotic irony. That's what it is. I broke him.
There's probably someone walking around Daytona can hear Eric laughing.
Bro, I feel him, bro. I feel
I
him,
just
bro.
I just want them to know I'm still here so they don't accidentally lock the gate and I can't leave. in like
Yeah.
half an hour.
Oh yeah, go lock you out. Or no, go lock the media center up. Like, oh, I thought
It's
y'all
almost
were-
midnight here, right? What time
Oh
is it?
yeah, that's right. But
All
no,
right.
that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. But hey,
That-
Trackhouse, y'all better get on that, man, because I'm sure there's a bunch of other top teams that want to sign your boy. So
Yep.
get on it.
If you want them, don't not really put a ring on it, but do something, lock it down.
All I'm gonna say,
ring on it.
right, is my girlfriend is a Denny Hamlin fan that does not like Ross Chastain now, thanks to the Hail Melon and
Oh,
last
that'd
year's
be-
shenanigans. And
that'd be funny.
I would love the opportunity to say, hey, guess who's driving the FedEx 11
Yeah.
car next year? Ross
Yeah.
Chastain. I would
That would be
love
crazy.
that opportunity. I know it's
Hey.
it's like 99% not going to happen. Probably
I-
99.999% it won't happen.
I can just hear the cuss words going at you right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
also,
good thing there's a
too-
soundproof wall between us.
Also, too, hey, I can't imagine what Denny Delivers reaction is gonna be. You gotta change up your whole profile, bro.
Instead of Denny delivers, it's
Chastain
Chastain.
Delivers.
Chastain.
Wrecker.
Chastain brings you package. I don't know.
Chastain the record. Denny, I don't know. Oh,
Chastain
boy.
carries. I don't know.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Chastain.
Wait, Ross Chastain. Oh God, he says your girlfriend is a Dennis fan. ... Leave while you can. Nah, leave her alone, bro. This is awesome. No, bro. Nah,
That sounds like someone that sounds like someone that doesn't have one.
Oh.
Oh, got him. And on the week of Valentine's Day.
Oh, damn, bro.
You're a load.
Hey, Jared, you see what I did there? I gave you the assist. There with
thank
that.
you.
So I
Thank
gave you that assist.
Moving on. I apologize for my terrible audio tonight, y'all. I hope it's
You
still
sound
doing
fine.
okay.
You sound fine,
Okay.
bro. You sound fine, bro.
You are a lot better than you were just earlier, so
Thank
you're
goodness. Well, before we get into our Daytona 500 preview, we have to thank our other sponsor, Forney Industries. Forney offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and much, much more for do-it-yourselfers all the way up to the pros. If you're a professional metal worker, Forney has everything you need for your next project. I know they supply several teams, especially in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I know they supply them with equipment for their race shop. So very involved in NASCAR, and you can shop Forney's top-of-the-line products for yourself at forneyinc.com. That link is down in the description below. What's up, Darren?
Quick question: Can Forney fix my my hair tie here? I just broke it. Can they fix my hair tie here?
Welding equipment, Darian, not
So it can't fix this hair tie
a
at all.
sewing machine. What do you need? I don't know what-
Is that made of metal?
No.
If a hair tie breaks, you just throw it in the trash. It's a hair tie.
No, if a hair tie breaks, I'll just get another one. I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
You take a welding machine to that, and it's just gonna be a ball of fire.
NWP After Dark is wild.
Please weld responsibly, chat.
Yes.
Before we get to the final super chats, though, we've got to preview the Daytona 500, boys. Tomorrow night is the duels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Friday is trucks, Xfinity, and ARCA take up Saturday, and then the Cup race is on Sunday. Sunday. Let's see. I got to make sure I know what's going on. Cup race, Daytona 500, 200 laps, starts 2:30 Eastern time Sunday on Fox and MRN. The weather is great. I'm just gonna tell you guys. There's other than Friday where there's a 40% chance of rain, there's like a 10 to 15% chance of rain every other day this week. So that's pretty great. One fun little detail that was announced today, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, that they're gonna have former Daytona 500 winners do the command like together. I don't know if they're gonna rehearse it like I don't know what they're gonna do. Richard
cool,
Petty.
though.
Yeah, Richard Petty, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Allison, Bill Elliott, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, and everyone's favorite Joey Logano will give the command.
No Dale Jr. He's a two-timer.
He's also an NBC employee.
Yeah,
That too.
But so's Kevin Harvick now.
Well,
Oh,
They're saving him for Talladega.
Yeah, they're just gonna save him. Save him for something.
but no. Kevin Harvick is Fox.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm
That's right.
the Xfinity race is the beef. It's what for dinner. It's what's for dinner at 300. That does not roll off the tongue. 120 laps, 5 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday on FS1 and MRN. Austin Hill's the defending winner there. And the truck race Friday night is 100 laps. It's the Next Era Energy 250. Starts 7:30 Eastern time on FS1 and MRN Friday. Zane Smith is the most recent winners. We're not going to predict the dual winners, but those are tomorrow night. 2 races. Both are 60 laps apiece. beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern time on FS1. Last year was the RFK boys, Buescher and Keselowski, who swept the duels. Darian, who is Las Vegas tagging as the favorites for this year's Great American Race?
Oh boy. Some of these odds, they make a lot of sense, but then I read some of the other ones and I'm like, do you even watch racing like that? And I can tell some of these people don't watch racing like that. Do you have the odds up on the screen yet?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right, let's go over because some of y'all are probably already laughing at some of them right now. Let's go over the favorites according to Vegas Insider. Ryan Blaney is plus 1,200. Denny Hamlin, aka Dennis Hamlin, as some like to call him, 1,300. Along with Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, 1,400. But Kyle Larson plus 1,400. What? I mean, look, I get it. Because last year, before I jinxed him at the track, he was doing good. He was running up front there in the main pack and stuff. It was looking like, hey, he might compete for the victory, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I put him at plus 1,400, but hey, if you want to go for it, go for it. As for the best of the rest, Joey Logano plus 1,600, as well as Bubba Wallace, William Byron plus 1,900, Brad Keselowski plus 2,000. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then Ross Chastain plus 2,200. And now the underdogs. I love this one. Last year's winner, Austin Cedric, is only plus 2,700. Now, that was random. I've never seen a plus 2,700 like betting odd thing. So I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, well, that's a pretty random one to put. I'm like, okay. Well, that's the that's the defending winner's odds. And then Noah Gragson plus 4,000. As something's vibrating. And then Noah Gragson plus 4,000. And then Ty Gibbs plus 5,000. And then the final two, Harrison Burton plus 7,500. That's my personal favorite underdog. I like that. And finally, the major wild card, Cody Ware plus 20,000. If you want to be rich, if you want to go for it, Cody Ware.
That's my bet.
20,000.
That's my bet. It almost worked for me last year, man. I almost won 17 grand if he would have won that race.
Hey, it's a major hit when he almost wins, but then once he doesn't, though, and you're like, oh, but at least you tried, though. At least you tried. But yeah, those are the betting odds.
I'm gonna check something real fast here because I'm curious if you put just $5 on him, and we'll see what that would do.
Yeah, see what that is, and then after
let's see what my bet will be.
After that, we'll go over the fantasy league for this season. Be on the
interesting.
Hold on, I gotta get it. Hold on, I'm going
sitting here like Mr. Burns right now.
Math.
Okay, if you put $5 on Cody Ware, you would win $1,000.
Yeah, y'all put your money. Put at least $5. Come on, y'all gotta put at least $5.
Have some hope.
Always remember to bet responsibly if you have a gambling problem.
Yeah. We don't promote gambling addiction.
We are not encouraging you what to bet, but we are just saying an example.
We are giving you the odds. We're not going.
You're over here like you're gonna win. You're gonna win.
But NWP told me that I had to bet the house on Cody Ware. No, I did not say that. I did not say take out a mortgage, bet the house, all that stuff. I did not say that stuff. I'm
two houses.
No, he said that, not me. But those are the betting odds. And really quick, before we move on, for the first time this season, I'm happy to announce the NWP Fantasy League is back for another season. What is this, like the third, fourth season we've done this? I felt like we've done this since season one. I don't remember. All I know is that we've done this for a while. Here's the thing, though. Okay, so I want to explain this really quick. So the Fantasy League we're in, it's already full. You can only go up to 100 people. Okay. And I tried to create a new one to get some new people in. Okay. But the problem is, according to the website, every single one of you would have to leave. Don't leave it. Do not leave it. I'm not telling you to leave it. I'm just saying the website told me that every single one of you would have had to leave and I would have to be the only one to delete it officially. So here's what we're going to do. If you're already in the original NWP Fantasy League, stay in there. We are going to keep track of that. But for those who still want to play, with us and, that sort of thing, I am here to introduce NWP Fantasy League 2. The link is right there. Join now at 100 people. It's full. So join right now. We already have 2 people in there, and let's have some fun this season.
If NWP is so good, then why is there no NWP2? Boom, there it is.
That NWP2. There you go. And you know what? Let me
I
refresh
don't-
it right now. Let me refresh it.
I
Let's
don't
see how many
know
people do it.
if the rest of these guys know, but every time, because I'm controlling the graphics
I
pad.
saw the thunder. I
Yeah,
saw the thunder.
every time Darian goes and this, and I just lightning.
Yes. Yeah,
Lightning.
No, that's good. I like that. I like. Hey, you should do that more often. Do that more often.
I'll just do it
I
at
like
random.
that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But yep, join the league, y'all. Join the league. The link is right there. I'll put it in there one more time. And yeah, at 100 it fills up. But don't worry, I'll do my best to keep track of both. So yeah, enjoy the season.
Lastly, gentlemen, it's time to make our Daytona 500 picks. We already began our podcast pick points last week with the Clash, where it's kind of like a repeat of last year right now. Chat, you and I picked Kyle Busch. We are currently tied, I believe, if I'm reading this number correctly, for the championship lead. Danny is -4, Jarrett is -5, Darian is -8. You got time. It's just one week.
Well, I picked the pulse. I picked the pulsar today.
Yeah.
That's why I'm closer to Danny now.
He was -6. He literally got a point today.
Hey, y'all hear the way Eric said it though? It's like, oh, -8. He's just rubbing it in, bro. He's just rubbing it in, man.
I literally said it's just 1 week. You're fine. You're fine, Darian.
No.
You'll
This
live.
ain't fine, bro. I'm already last, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
So we're doing 3. We're not doing ARCA, I guess. We're doing Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup.
Oh no, Arc. No, we ain't doing that.
Well,
No way.
let's just be honest. We're all rooting for Frankie Muniz and Arca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also too, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest here. When was the last time the ARCA Daytona race was like worth watching? I'm just being honest here. I'm just being
It's had
honest.
it's had a couple of rough years. That is
I'm
for
just saying.
sure.
I'm sorry. So. All right. let's
So I
go.
guess we'll go in points order. Chat, you guys always go last. So I guess I'll start with the truck win pick. I'm going with a guy who got it done here just a couple of years ago, a KG vet back in a competitive truck with, I believe he's in the 23 or the 24. No, Raja's in the 24. So I'm going with Grant Enfinger in the 23.
And I said it earlier in my hot takes. I believe that all Cup drivers are going to be winning all the races this weekend. I'm going with Chase Elliott in the 35 truck to get it done this weekend.
Chase Elliott in the 35.
Well,
So random.
yeah, I recently moved, and I'm picking Chase from the same place as Danny.
Okay. You know what? I'm feeling lucky here. I'm feeling lucky. I feel like it's gonna be won by a really, really, really young driver. And we've seen flashes from this guy before, here and there. I'm gonna go with Sammy Smith. I think Sammy Smith will get it done.
Well, I think they're going Smith in the chat from what I can see.
They're going Zane Smith in the chat, it looks like. And that's understandable.
Which truck is Sammy Smith in?
The 17.
Okay.
17. That's why I'm like, ooh, that looks intriguing there. But also, Zane Smith, another good pick. But I think the chat's going with Zane Smith. But
Yeah,
that's what it looks like to me. Well, yeah, I see mostly 38s. If you just want to lock that in.
Zane.
That sounds good. Yeah, give it to him.
Obama is not racing, Levi. Obama is not eligible to race.
He didn't get a waiver. He didn't.
I didn't get a waiver.
My fellow drivers.
My fellow Americans, I didn't get a waiver.
I don't have a teleprompter.
What if Obama buys a charter?
Oh, that'd be funny.
It's
That'd be funny.
Martha's Vineyard Racing.
Hey, you know what? That'd be funny because if he bought a charter, it would bring that old meme. Thanks, Obama. Because every time one of his cars would wreck another driver, they would say, "Thanks, Obama." So I remember that.
Or if they did good and they were happy with the equipment, thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. Thanks you. You can go either way.
All right, time to move on to the Xfinity win pick. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. The Colleague cars always draft so well, work so well together. I'm gonna go with a Cup driver making a one-off start, Justin Haley.
And I'm also in that same boat. I said all Cup drivers win this weekend, and sucks what's happened with Landon Castle, but I wanted to pick Austin Hill, but if you tell me Justin Haley is on a super speedway, I'm gonna go Justin Haley on that one in the Xfinity Series.
I'm sorry, those Colleague cars last year, they were good, but they weren't top of the series good anymore. And I think
top of the series.
I think top of the series is RCR, and I think it's Austin Hill. I'm going there. I'm going Austin Hill. I got bit there last year. I ain't getting bit again.
And you know what? Hey, great minds think alike because Austin Hill is also my pick to win this weekend.
So we're split 50-50 there.
Yes, we are.
Chat's
All right,
gonna be the
chat.
tiebreaker.
Let's see. I'm seeing some. I see one for Kligerman. It's interesting.
A couple so far for Haley.
Hey, a former I see Alex put a former out of the groove driver, Brandon Poole. There you go. Out of the groove driver. By the way, nice podcast. By the way, I like that podcast, Eric. That was a nice
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
They're still coming in, but I'm seeing more 10s than anything.
Movement. Danica Patrick is not racing. You know that.
You know that. Do better.
No, he runs my Discord, bro. He's always playing. I always give him a hard time.
There's really not that many people saying anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean,
I just saw the first Cole Custer pick.
Yeah,
And
I
you
see a few.
know what? I do want to say is I think he's going to do better this year. But going back down here, I actually thought about going with him, but I think I'll start considering him more for tracks other than these super speedways because we do have other good guys.
I'm starting to see a lot of 8s, 9s, and 10s.
I'm saying 21 and 10.
Pole.
Damn, this is hard. Hey, yeah, I'm thinking pole, but the question is which drivers on the pole though? That's the real question.
I'm thinking it's going to be the ones that we're split with 21 and 10 because that's what I'm saying mainly.
I've seen I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of 9s and 8s as well. Like, how many can you put on this pole? Is there like a limit?
You can put 4.
Okay.
All right, I'm working it.
All right.
And I guess we could have this poll while we do the the other like suck and underdog picks.
Yes, sir. Moving on.
Yeah. So Cup Series.
Eric,
Cup Series.
be sure to yell who's gonna suck in the Daytona garage.
Yeah, maybe they can hear it.
No, there's nobody out here. I'm genuinely worried they're gonna close the gates, and I'm gonna be stuck in here. I don't know what happens. I've never stayed at the track this late. It's Wednesday. It's not even like a race day. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just go sleep in one of the cars.
I'll go start off with my suck pick. I don't know. I think if you were great in single car runs today, there's a chance you're gonna struggle in the pack a little bit. I think the Hendrick car is really trimmed out. There was a stat. I think the last driver to win the pole for the Daytona 500 and win the race was Dale Jarrett, like 2000, I believe. So I'm gonna go Bowman. I just think something's gonna go wrong. Bad karma.
Ooh, damn. How you feeling, Dan?
That's pretty fair. But my suck pick, and actually this might shock some of you guys, I'm actually gonna go with last year's defending winner of the Daytona 500 to suck in this one, Austin Cindric.
That doesn't surprise me.
It was, what I saw last year. Yeah, he might have some good runs during the race, but I don't think he's gonna finish this one. I think he's not gonna be there at the end of this one. And gonna call it a bad day for the defending winner of the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with somebody, and I think I picked them last year to suck. And while they finished top 10, for the way that everyone vaunts this guy as like this amazing, super speedway racer, I think he only does well at Talladega, and so I'm gonna pick him to suck this weekend. I think Darian already knows who I'm talking about. I'm going Brad Keselowski.
It's true. It's true though, man. It's true.
If you look at his average at Daytona, especially the 500, it's not good. Like it's in the 20s, I believe.
And we were there last year. He got into a few incidents. I'll just leave it at that. Harrison Burton. He was in the air for a little bit there.
Turned his life upside down.
Yeah. Too bad. The fine folks at home couldn't see it initially. Oh wait, Harrison Burton flipped? What? And we're like, y'all didn't see it. Oh, sorry. One of the funniest moments ever. But anyways, for my suck pick, and I see chat, they're reading my mind a little bit here. Oh, thanks, Nate. He's saying thanks for the amazing content. Appreciate it, bro. I'm always reading in the chat. Sorry about that. Anyways, my who's gonna suck pick, Martin Truex Jr. I know he won, a couple stages in last year's. But again, there's always something happening with this guy, always something. And, it's sad because at the beginning of his career, when he was driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Chance 2 team, he was extremely good on these super speedways.
No, he won
obviously.
both the stages last year.
Yeah, I mean, I know he won both the stages too, but it's like something always happens to him, though. There's something that always happens, whether it's his fault or not. I mean, unless I'm proven wrong, I feel like Martin Truex Jr. is the safe pick here. I mean, I think he'll have some speed for sure, but it's just bad luck. Case of bad luck, unfortunately.
I see a lot of the chat picking guys like Pastrana.
I think it's.
No, I've seen more of Almirola and Ty Dillon.
Oh, they're just trying
the
to.
most Almirolas. I'm going to give him Almirola because he's might be a pick to win, and I want to screw the chat for always picking Almirola.
Do your thing, Aaron. Do your thing.
You
They
guys
did
got
it.
Almirola.
Man, they did.
I think they're getting Almirola. Meanwhile, the poll pretty close, kind of close. I think Justin Haley wins the Xfinity poll.
Haley wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to move on to our dark horse picks. My dark horse to win at the Daytona 500 is Corey LaJoy. He's been good at Daytona here and there the last couple of years. Almost won Atlanta. So if they have a good motor, I think LaJoy can win.
My underdog pick is someone who's finished second now in this race 2 times, including last year, and he's got a couple wins now at this point. Has a win from Talladega. Bubba Wallace is going to be my underdog for this one. Does he get it done? That remains to be seen, and I don't feel confident enough to pick him to win. So I'll go with the underdog to win in this case.
This is one of the only few places on earth this guy is an underdog. But he put together some solid runs at super speedways last year. He was running up front when he was collected in different incidents. And I distinctly remember him running up front more at Talladega last year than I ever remember him running there before. So because of where it's at, because of how well his car also qualified, I'm picking Kyle Larson as my dark horse Daytona 500 pick, because this is the only place other than Talladega in this series you can pick Kyle Larson as a dark horse.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, I just talked about him earlier. Keselowski punted him in the air there, and I feel like this year he'll get the big payback. Not paying back Keselowski. I don't think you ever want to pay back anybody on a super speedway. That's very dangerous now. Maybe another track maybe, but it was so long ago now. Anyways, Harrison Burton, that is my underdog pick. I think he'll lead some laps up there. And in qualifying, looked like he had a little bit of speed there. Was one of the many Fords to have to showcase some speed there. I think Harrison Burton's time is coming. Not saying a win. Not saying a win yet. But if he can finish, top 5, top 3 in the Daytona 500, I could see that. I could see that. That'd be a feel-good underdog story, in my opinion.
That's not a bad underdog pick. The chat seems to be going Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, while I've seen some for the 43 and 42, I'm seeing more for the 84.
Yeah,
so.
oh yeah,
Legacy Motor Club.
I knew they were going to go with him. I knew they were going to go with that.
Lastly, Darian, what time is it?
Oh boy, and you know what? Hey, we're not going to have an off week for a while, so hey, get ready for this. But hey, gotta do it in the radio voice now. Who's gonna win?
You picked out.
In what universe is that radio voice?
Who's gonna win at the Daytona 500?
Let me start it up. Let me start over again. Sorry.
Who
will win?
Who's gonna? We good? All right. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win the Daytona 500? Was that better?
We could hear
It's
it.
better. You still put too much E when it should be E.
Oh, okay. All right. I gotta work on it. It's all good.
You'll get plenty of chances this year.
Yeah.
My win pick seems like he's often near the front of these races. He's won these races, just not this race in particular. But I think the Fords are going to draft well. I think they're at happy balance. I think the Chevy's really fast in qualifying. I think the Toyotas will be good in the pack. But I think the Fords kind of nice and balanced. I'm going Ryan Blaney. He got blocked last year. He's not going to let that happen this year.
Hopefully he doesn't kill that effing kid this year.
That was a rough soundbite.
And for me, I felt pretty good about this pick throughout the entire offseason. Qualifying was okay, but I feel like he's going to do good once we actually get racing. And I'm going to go with Kyle Busch and the 8 team to start off the relationship together with a win in the Daytona 500, his first one. He's got 2 championships at this point, but it'd be a perfect time to go ahead and cap off that career with a Daytona 500 victory.
My pick has been exceptionally fast at the super speedways, especially in recent, about the recent year and a half, years. Depending, doesn't matter what timeline. He's been very fast at these tracks. He's won a lot of them recently. He wasn't the fastest of his team to qualify, but as we've seen, honestly, that probably means he's better in race trim. I trust him the most out of anyone on his team, and I think that he is going to pick up right where he left off last year when it came to being the honestly most consistent and best driver out there. This year's going to start out with a bang because Chase Elliott's going to win the Daytona 500.
You know, this is going to sound unrelated at first, but it does have a point. So just hang in there with me. Y'all know I'm a big rap fan. Y'all know I'm a big diehard rap fan, you know, hip hop fan as well. You know, some of y'all listen to Little Baby with me, you know, one of my favorite rappers. You know, one of his best albums was called My Turn. And, you know, really symbolized his, you know, rise to the top because he hasn't came down ever since that album's release, you know, keeps putting out fire songs. And I got a feeling there's one driver, it's about to be his turn as well. About to be his turn to solidify his legacy and win the Daytona 500. Kyle effing Busch wins the Daytona 500. It's his turn. It's his turn, y'all.
We got 2 picks for Kyle Busch, and oddly enough, the chat is pretty split between Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney. So I'd probably say do a poll on that one.
Definitely seeing most. I've seen a lot of Blaney's and Bushes. You're right. Hopefully. Hold on.
Poll.
Because it's like we'll go a little bit, and there'll be like 3 or 4 in a row for the 8, and 3 or 4 in a row for the 12. So I would just do a poll for those 2.
Hey Eric. Guess what?
What?
Poll.
Like those seagulls from Finding Nemo.
Answer me now, poll.
There we go.
Poll.
While they're answering our question, we got some super chats I want to get to. Napa Racing fan sent earlier, what is your favorite NASCAR Weekly podcast memory? Mine is Mark Martin interview. I would agree. That's probably might be my favorite too, honestly. Steve Phelps was cool.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The Steve Phelps interview, that was really cool. I mean, it's one thing to interview a driver and a team owner, but to interview the president of freaking NASCAR, that was one of the greatest interviews ever, you know. And you know, also to ask a bit of a hard question in the process as well. That's something I'm still proud of to this day. So I like that.
God, it's tough.
You guys can keep thinking on it for a second. I'm gonna get to a few more. David Bell said, "Wishing you all the best. Stay safe at Daytona."
Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
It's nothing. Said NASCAR Weekly question. You're taking a road trip cross country with any NASCAR personality. Who are you going with?
Ryan Blaney. I go with Ryan Blaney. I think. He seems chill. He does seem chill. Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Actually,
I don't want anybody annoying on my trip. And
who would be the annoying. Who would be the most annoying person to take on the trip?
Oh boy, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I know the answer, but we can't say it over the air.
We can't say it, but we'll talk about it later.
I'm not gonna answer this.
Y'all know who it is. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know.
Move on. I don't even know if we're thinking about the same people.
I think we are.
I think we are.
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay. Hunter Nixon Fishing sent 5 and said, "Can't wait for the 500. My daughter's birthday was today. She turned 2, and mine is Sunday. We're going to celebrate by watching the race." That's
happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
By the way, Hunter Nixon, if you're still listening, I'm gonna be reaching out to you very soon. I got something I want to get to you.
Forever Ranger, thanks for the 1. Appreciate it. NASCAR Joey, hey Eric, will you be at the garage tomorrow for the duels? Yes, I'll be all over this place, but probably mostly in the garage area. Go Snake Man. After Casey Kane stopped driving the 9, 4, and 5, all 3 numbers from different drivers have won a championship. Wish Kane could have won one with one. Can any number win 5? Okay, I don't know what the last bit means, but yeah, that's interesting.
Interesting.
The 9, 4, and 5 have all won championships after Casey Kane.
Quick, if you're going to start a team, bring back to 95. Go.
Jeez.
Jupiter Rain, when chiming in about the 50 best drivers versus 75, said that the NBA didn't remove people, so he thinks NASCAR, or I don't know if Jupiter Rain, he or she thinks NASCAR will just add 25 new drivers. That could happen. That's true.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's more than 25. I don't know if there is.
I just think that there's so much more that's happened over the last few years that you got to reconsider stuff.
Yeah, and I think one for sure that's not going like what was it? I can't remember his first name. It ended with a Hendrick. I had never heard of him. I don't think he'll be on the 75 list. I don't think.
Zachary asked, does Hendrick have the strongest group of drivers?
I mean, I don't know if they have the strongest group of drivers, but just consistently, They have some of the best equipment that anyone they've got in there should be considered a threat to win.
Get back to me at the end of the year. I want to see how Cindric does, and it's between. I think it's between Hendrick and Penske.
What about Truex, Hamlin, Bell? That's a pretty stout
if we're
trio.
talking about right now,
Truex is. I think Truex is at the end of his career. You still got Gibbs, who's new, and then Denny for half the year was not. Well, he was not full Denny. Full Denny was what Chastain did to him.
Look, I'll put it like this: most solid group of drivers for the next decade, because I don't see them racing anywhere for a very long time anywhere else.
Sorry, Joe Snake Man said, "I wish they'd bring back tandem racing. It was more exciting."
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, some people, isn't that crazy, Jared? Dude, Jared, when it happened at the time, Jared, was people liking it at the time, Jared?
NASCAR fans never like anything at the time.
Bro,
why are you asking me this question?
They always, bro, it's crazy. They always like stuff like 10 years later, bro. It's so funny. I love it.
Dude, I can't wait for someone to leave a super chat to us in 2027 being like, man, we need to bring that 550 package back.
But you know what? Hey, if that's your preference and stuff, then hey, you know, all props to you, you know, but I'm just saying, it's a fact though. They are always switching up, NASCAR fans. I'm sorry, bro.
The outside line, thank you for the 10, very generous. I would love to see Kentucky back, especially since I'm in the Cincinnati, Ohio market, but to just have it be
makes sense.
like,
that makes sense.
But to just have it be like New Atlanta, I think would turn a lot of people that I saw at the track away.
Really? They wouldn't like that?
I don't know. I think super speedways would sell, at least in the short term. I mean, I hate saying that, but I do think that's probably true.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'll have to disagree with that. You might be right though. Maybe.
So
he's from there.
Atlanta last year, one of the races had like great attendance, best they've had in years. But didn't the other race?
The spring races. The spring race had major attendance bump.
But wasn't the July race empty?
Yeah,
well, it was just so hot.
It
was hot though. Yeah,
I guess, but it was empty if I remember correctly. Maybe I couldn't remember if I was misremembering it.
I'll be honest, like as much as I want Chicagoland back, if they brought it back as a super speedway, it's just not the same. It's not what I want to bring back.
Yeah.
It's improved.
I was at slide job. I was at slide job.
I just still say give me 35-degree bank 3-mile Texas Mega Speedway.
Yes.
Hey, why not, bro? Hey, just do something out of the box,
Texas.
Yeah, might as well.
Austin Blansett says, quick discussion. Who is better for the sport as a color commentator, Benny Parsons or Darrell Waltrip? I believe
Benny Parsons.
Benny, I mean, that's tough, though, man. You gave me a...
That's
hard, though.
I think it's tough.
I personally like Benny Parsons more, but you cannot at all discard as a commentator how well Darrell Waltrip integrated newer fans in. I know it's tough.
He's a cultural icon for better or for worse, I think.
Yeah, look, I get he could get, you know, pretty annoying sometimes, but like, dude, I mean, for 20 plus years, I mean, boogity, but like that was, you know,
but to also be fair, like once he finally had that full-time gig and wasn't all like over on pit road or wasn't only on once every couple weeks, like Benny Parsons' time got cut short. Like we're comparing 6 years to 20.
Yeah, and also too, you can't remember too, Benny Parsons, he was, you know, he was on ESPN for many, many years prior to his NBC TNT game.
I miss BP.
I just think
I do too.
I just think quality wise, Benny Parsons went out on a better note than how Waltrip's time could be perceived when he was leaving.
People forget that last year that Benny Parsons was commentating, like he was going through chemotherapy at the time.
Dude, he was sick, and he was still commentating to the best of his ability. So his time got cut short, unfortunately.
He was still really good.
Great.
And the thing is, he passed away only like 2 months after his final race.
Yeah.
While on chemo, he was doing that. Like that's crazy, man. Props to him, but both are amazing for the sport. They were both
good
great.
Super chat topic.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one. Yeah.
NASCAR.
People are pointing out that more super chats they're going to equal Thursday on the East Coast.
Oh my God, that's the first time I think we'll ever do this.
Hey, I'm with it, man.
Okay, well let's keep it going. We don't.
I am worried for Eric's sake.
I am genuinely a little nervous. Less people are walking around. Like I haven't seen a person since that golf cart about 20 minutes ago.
We're gonna get Eric stuck in the track.
I have to pee. Hopefully the bathroom isn't closed. There's one over there. I see it. I think it's open. Okay.
If they're all gone, there's grass.
Oh God, how dehumanizing that would be.
Hey. Hey, there's the infield. Oh no, don't go there.
Oh,
You're gonna
no,
get
no,
kicked
no,
out.
no, would not do that.
No,
All
don't
right.
do that. That's hollow ground, bro. Dale Sr. did his burnout there,
This
bro.
all feels
No.
like hollow ground. You can see into the you can see Daytona 500 cars in the window behind me. I'm not gonna pee on the grass. All right. NASCAR's on 24-14. How about a street race at Nashville or Long Beach? Was it you, Darian, who mentioned Long Beach? Who mentioned Long Beach?
I
earlier?
mentioned Long Beach.
Yeah.
You damn right. I love
I-
Long Beach. Bring
I
it on.
think Nashville don't need to be worried about that for much longer because the stadium is about to make that all be
Yeah.
non-existent.
Hey, we
Anyway.
got 5 F1 tracks. We're good.
Oh yeah, we already got by. Hey, that's right. That's right. We good.
From Shorty PJM, bro, Alex, he completely embarrassed the rest of Hendrick Motorsports. He was that fast, a man amongst babies.
I think he beat Larson by
It was
like
decent.
1.5 tenths or something like that.
Hey, that
Yeah.
48, they're getting something cooking. That's why he signed that extension before he's even ran a points race. Getting cooking already.
Just gotta stay in clean air during the race and stay up there.
Mhm.
Hold
Getting
on.
cooking.
I see this in the chat. Not Shay says it's 4:55 a.m. here in Ireland. Should I go to bed or just truck on until tonight?
Oh, whoa, that is crazy.
Much
thank
applause
you,
to you.
dog. Yo, thank you, bro.
The Irish are a different breed.
Side note, thanks for staying up this late listening to us.
Yeah, appreciate
Listen to
it.
me
bro.
talk about peeing in the Daytona infield. That's beautiful content.
Next.
Rosh
That's
Crash State. Sorry, I lost my place. Rosh
No,
Crash
no,
State's
sorry.
picking a fight with you, Jarrett. He says, "Okay, Iceberg, outside behind the dumpster in 30. You gonna see him there? You gonna fight him?"
Oh, for the heavyweight championship of the world.
I'm not that heavy.
Jamie Thornton chiming in on your Chastain replacing Hamlin theory. Toyota's going to pay Denny. They can't afford to lose 23-11. That definitely complicates things. That's true. Mandude 03 videos. I got to work during the second half of the 500. That sucks.
What?
That's terrible to hear.
Your boss sucks, bro. He must suck then, man.
Get a new boss.
Yeah,
bro.
for real. That boss sucks, bro. That sucks.
Get him to watch the Daytona 500 with you.
Yeah,
I don't
hey, you
understand.
can get out of work doing that. Yeah, just convince him. Like, hey, boss, let's just watch this together.
Alan Barkley, thanks for the 5. William Byron is 25 years old and he's entering his 6th full-time Cup season. Meanwhile, Blaney is 29 and entering his 8th. Yeah, that blows
It's
my
crazy.
mind.
It don't feel like it, bro. It don't
Thomas-
feel like it.
Thomas Cherry, the only winner will be NASCAR officiating. They never disappoint.
Hey, we're not the NFL.
Yeah.
Thank you for the £5. Not Shay sent a super sticker. Appreciate that. Scott McNew as well said, "Great to see you guys. Hope all is well. Just got to my Daytona hotel and can't wait for Sunday. Go Truex."
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Hope to see you out here, Scott.
Well, he doesn't like my suck pick, but hey, hopefully he proves me wrong. Hopefully he proves me wrong.
Yeah. Rowdy 18 Diecast sent 888. I like that. In his 18th try, it is my hope and belief that Kyle Busch will finally win the Daytona 500. Well, that sounds like destiny to me.
Hey, destiny, bro.
Good luck, Rowdy 18 Diecast.
The adult candy man.
Andrew Mayer said that McDonald's scheme is trash and should be banned.
It just should be running testing.
Hey, bro, when
Yeah.
you bite into a McDonald's burger, it's like the Krabby Patties. You get the gray filling. That's why they put it in there.
I saw that tweet. I couldn't remember who posted it, but that
I
made me
did.
laugh so
I
hard.
did that. I did that.
Larso again says, "Who will miss the 75th team?" I think Elliott. They just hate. Chase Elliott absolutely top
Damn.
75.
Yo.
What are you talking about, Bill or Chase? No, they're in there.
Oh yeah, they're both. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Bro, y'all crazy, bro. Y'all are crazy.
People sent to said Seattle Street Course as there's no cup nearby. Yeah, I think that there's makes a lot of sense to go to the Pacific Northwest. The Portland race, despite all that bad weather during the Xfinity race last year, apparently had a pretty good crowd. So there's definitely some support up there. Then Napa Racing fans sent a couple, said, "How would you revive Speed Weeks? Right now it's half Speed Week.
Make it speed week again.
Yeah,
Make it
I
a
mean,
week again.
There should have been a practice session before qualifying tonight.
Yeah.
Like that's all you had. to do.
Because what did we see happen? Some of these cars couldn't get going. I wonder why. Ooh, wonder why.
Napa Racing fan also said tonight's show has become NWP After Dark. Yeah, that happened a while ago. I believe that's the last super chat. How is the poll looking, gentlemen? Blaney's edging ahead ever so slightly.
Whoa, hey, Blaney's their pick. Blaney's their pick. Hey, they're going with you again. They're take the same pick as you, I guess.
It sure sounds like it. I'm gonna hope my internet doesn't crash and burn, because I want to show you guys real quick these Daytona 500 cars in their garage stall.
Oh, we're getting
Before
this.
we
Oh,
go.
we're getting this on the podcast. Oh, let's go.
Let's
Okay.
hope and pray my internet doesn't die. I'm
We're
not gonna go
going
too
on
far.
a trip
Hey,
in our favorite rocket
don't
ship.
drop nothing either. Don't drop nothing, bro.
And don't forget your laptop.
Oh yeah. Well, there's nobody out here anymore.
Hold on. I'm gonna full screen
Dylan.
it. Don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
go
full
off it
screen
yet.
it.
I'll full screen it.
Full screen it. Yeah, that's full screen worthy.
All right.
Ooh,
All right.
that's what I'm talking about.
Check out one more, maybe
Look at
two
that.
more. 'cause
I see Tootsies.
Yep.
Up.
Hold on. I'm gonna pin this.
Tyler Reddick.
Look
Ooh.
at that. Ooh.
So did you guys
Nice.
notice they put these banners up above
Those
their
are-
Yeah, I like that.
They're
They
going.
look
Oh, they're
good.
going a little extra with that. I like that. And the little floor mat there too. Hey, they're on point with that branding. I mean, hey,
Somebody-
it's Michael Jordan's
Now-
team. So.
Now I'm
Somebody
wondering
wrote
if this is
something on
something. Is this
It
something
says-
all the teams are doing, or is this the track itself? I wonder.
I don't know. I was trying to read what that sign said. Is
Yeah.
the quality dipping at all?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
you're good.
I see.
You're all
gonna
good.
I
go to
see
one-
Briscoe.
I'm going to one more.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm
Ooh,
skipping over
ooh,
Briscoe, so it is-
I see one you should show.
We're going to the Chase and Chase show.
Yep,
Yes.
Chase and Chase show, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. I can't see the chat. Are they enjoying
Wait,
this?
Oh, yeah.
They loving it.
Wait.
They loving it.
Wait. Turn it just a little bit. Turn it just a little bit to the right. Oh, for a second, I thought someone had a TV on in there. My bad.
Yeah, I thought someone left it. Yeah, left
All right, we're
it
gonna-
on. And
We're gonna do one more because I both love and hate these next two. Or actually, it's a little further down. I'm gonna show you guys. These are the last two.
okay.
These two had a little run in at Texas last year.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Now, hey,
Sing
chat. What do
away.
y'all think? What do y'all think of the new Raptor scheme? Y'all think this is way better than
I think
the,
it's better.
last year? Yeah, it's better. It's an improvement. And also, Danny Hamlin's scheme is pretty good too. But thank you, Eric. Thank you for taking us on a field trip there. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. You're welcome.
Is this the first time we've gotten just like an exclusive look around a garage during this show?
It's
Second time,
empty,
Jordan
y'all.
Anderson did it.
Oh,
with
yeah.
us.
Oh,
can't
yeah.
forget about that. Yeah, one of the OG interviews. That's right. You know, it's fitting we have this happen on the what is it, Jared? The 5th anniversary.
Yeah, today is
They-
the 5-year anniversary of me and Danny logging on to talk about the
Yep,
2018 duels.
I should have shaved my hair just for this.
Oh no, Dan, no,
Here we
Dan,
go.
We love the hair. We love the hair, Dan. Oh,
Is gorgeous.
wow, that is beautiful.
This is where they run the 500 lap Daytona race.
And you know what? You know what's funny? I remember me and Jared standing there before the start of the 2020 Daytona 500. They just did the flyovers, and I had turned to him and said, "2020 is going to be the greatest year ever."
Asshole, you jinxed the whole damn year.
That was the BFM jinx.
I jinxed it
Hey, chat.
because
Look
all
at.
the stuff that happened.
Let's get meta, chat. Look at that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
All right. I'm sorry. This has gone on too long. Let's
No,
wrap
it's
the
all
show.
good.
Who are we on next week?
yeah.
Darian.
Yes, sir.
We're
Yes,
on
sir.
your
Hey,
channel.
and y'all have been seeing it on the ticker, but just to remind y'all again, next Wednesday, the first NWP on my channel is next week, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We will go over all of the events that took place at the Daytona International Speedway, and we'll be getting ready for the Auto Club weekend, potentially the final Auto Club weekend on the current historic configuration. So potentially, could be the end of an era.
But potentially ever if Alex Bowman wins again. I mean, we don't know.
Oh yeah, hey, that'd be fitting if Alex Bowman won again, and that track just gets torn down and stuff. But hey, you know what? And also too, on another side note, it just said I reached 65,000 subscribers. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Congratulations.
The road to 100K. The road to 100K. Hopefully someday.
Now I need to check if I hit my next benchmark.
I knew I was
I'm
close,
close.
but
And then a special reminder, you can catch some live post-race streams from Jarrett, the Iceberg, pretty much every day starting tomorrow.
Yep.
So after the races, tune into live with them. And then also Eric will have Out of the Groove coming from the track this weekend. And then Danny B Talks, I will be having post-race interviews and other various content from the weekend on my channel as well. So lots of great content across all of us this weekend, and Darian will have some great Twitter stuff too.
Yeah, also the same here, and then I'll probably post some interviews as shorts over the weekend. So
I feel like between shorts, community posts, videos, live streams, Twitter, I feel like we got like all bases covered at this point. All four of us do.
So subscribe to all of us, and you'll get plenty of Daytona 500 content this weekend.
You know it.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's Daytona, baby. Let's go.
It's Daytona. And I'll admit before we,
it's Thursday morning for Eric.
That's right. Yeah, it's already midnight, and I just want to say this before we get off the air. I know it's the 5-year anniversary, so I just wanted to take a moment on air to say I love you guys, appreciate you guys. You guys have changed my life entirely from the moment y'all brought me on this show. So I appreciate it. So thank you to Jared and Danny, the founding fathers basically of the show in a way. And then Eric was brought on and stuff, and the way they got Eric's attention will always be one of the funniest stories ever. Because Eric, you were playing what, Fortnite?
Yeah, I was playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's all the rage.
Oh my god! And then y'all just kept chatting away, like notice us, and you were like,
we just said, hey, sir, will you talk to us?
I think that was all Danny, if I remember right.
No, you were doing it some. You were doing it some. Yeah, you were.
That's
But yeah, I think all three of us can say ditto on all fronts. So, but awesome.
But also too, I remember the way I had gotten on was Jared had sent me a YouTube DM, but I was out in Reno for spring break, so I had saw it and I had forgotten about it for a month straight because I was so drunk that night when I had opened it, and then I reopened it. I was like, oh my god. So I could have been on the show a lot sooner, but hey, things happen for a reason. So
it's worked out pretty well.
Better late than never. But hey, it's just want to say thank y'all for 5 years. It's been awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now I think we all want to go to bed and get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully they let me out of here. Thank you all so much for watching and/or listening, and thanks for putting up with my awkward audio and setup. I hope you all enjoyed our post-Daytona 500 qualifying stream. Like Danny said, we've all got fun stuff coming your way later this week, so stay tuned to all of our social media and all of our YouTube channels. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on Darian's channel, Black Flags Matter, in 1 week.
Yes, sir. And the chat picked Blaney, by the way. So
did we not cover that? Oh gosh.
Okay. Oh, I thought we did. Sorry. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We had to go play it. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your hand in it. Holy boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Kiss your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous.